Here she is. You doing all right?
Yeah. Can I see the...
Do you want to? Or do you want to just...
Have you not looked at it? Have you looked at it?
I've looked at it, but then I'm not struggling. I'm not... No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just... Whether I've done it or not makes no difference on whether you should do it.
Okay. Will you look?
Oh, look. Yeah. Do you want to close your eyes? I mean, I'm not going to say anything other than... I'm not going to go, you look like a minger.
Yeah.
Because you actually don't.
Okay.
Do you want to look?
All right. No, I'm not going to look.
She's not going to look. How are your lips? Are they still sore?
All I can hear in my head is ring of fire, the ring of fire.
Well, at least it's lips and not your bum this week. Last week it was your butt. By the way, we share a lot.
Overshare, you mean?
No worries, I'm Latino. So.
Brilliant. We need a bit of Latino in the room.
Do, definitely. Actually, these are all signs for me because I always feel comfortable around like Latino people because of growing up in the Canaries. And also right opposite the studio is, do you see the cafe? What the name of the cafe was? It's called Molly's.
See, this is your higher power universe guiding you along.
I know.
Shall we get going?
Let's fucking do it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. You are finding yourselves with our dulcet tones in your lug holes. Hello and welcome to, are you ready, Kat?
Ready.
Episode 4.
What?
I know, of You Are Never the Only One. Today I'm joined, as you may have just heard, by the linguistic powerhouse who's done so much soul searching over the last few years, which sadly resulted in the confirmation of what we already knew she doesn't have one, the lovely Kat Sims. Do you like that? Did you like that?
Do you know what I read?
I was nervous about writing this.
No, I read that this morning.
Yeah.
Because I was printing it off and I saw that and I said to Jimmy, I went, she's been savage this morning.
And
Jimmy
back.
went, she's not wrong. So fair enough. Listen, thank you, Emma. And as always, it's a pleasure to be sitting next to you, even though your outfit suggests that we're hosting a children's TV show rather than a podcast of emotional resonance. But I'm not actually going to roast you too hard this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because deeply, and I know I've got a smirk on my face, not meant to be, it's like a nervous laughter, it's an ADHD thing. I know it's been a really tricky one for you, but we're here and you look wonderful and we're going to move on.
Okay.
We're going to talk about obviously more in detail, but I'm going to say it now, I'm so fucking proud that you're sat here doing this.
With my head down, I'll get better. I've not looked in the monitor, and I think that was the best option. Can't even talk. Right. Anyway, should we start off with a quick roundup? I went looking for an alternative to fizzy knickers the other day, and fucking hell, where that took me. Don't ever look up munting. Don't ever look up munting unless you're into some kind of weird necrophilia
I'm
thing.
literally doing it right now.
Oh my god, the Urban Dictionary of munting.
Roddy's laughing as if he knows what munting is.
Are you reading it? Are you reading it? Why don't you read it out for all of our friends at home?
I feel like this definitely needs to come with a trigger warning. Munting, a variation of necrophilia involving 2 live people and 1 dead. 2 girls, 1 cup. 2 live, 1 dead. Male or female, apparently. Yeah. To munt, find and dig up a semi-composed corpse. This is not okay.
I know. Isn't it mad? Read it.
I don't know if I want to. One person then goes, oh!
No.
One person then goes down. I'm going to say it quickly. I'm going to rip it off like a Band-Aid. One person then goes down on said corpse while the other jumps on the dead person's stomach, causing the juices, the decomposed organs, to be forced from all orifices. These are then drank by the person already connected to the corpse. And just in case you weren't sure how you might use it in a sentence.
Yeah.
Hey, Mary, let's go munting. They buried your sister 2 weeks ago. She'll be ripe. Fucking hell.
Told you, don't look it up. No need now. Who kind of did that act to then come up with a word for it and thought, it would be right to put it on?
There's a lot to unpack there. And we don't, fortunately, we don't have the time. But
anyway, the reason I was looking up fizzy knickers and why I came across munting was because I started watching The Rivals on your recommendation. I have questions. Firstly, why? Why do you think it's so great? Secondly, the casting. So disappointing. Specifically, Rupert Campbell Black, Smythe Fortescue, Smythers the third, whatever his name is, the ex-jockey.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the man. Like right from the get-go, you get the kind of Mile High scene.
Yes.
And it's like, oh yeah, who's this? This is going to be...
Great bottom.
And great cock, apparently.
Great
I'm
cock.
wondering if that's why he was cast.
Have you not seen the cock yet?
The tennis scene?
Yes.
Yes, right. That's the first. That's the first episode.
Maybe I've played it up too much for you.
Maybe. I know I'm not alone because a couple of friends are like, I got a bit bored in the first episode. But it is his real cock in it. So
It
I
is,
mean,
no
that's worth
prosthetics.
watching. No, it's prosthetics,
No.
exactly. Do you think he's fit?
I think he's very Rupert Campbell Black.
Okay, right. Maybe that's
Because I
what it
looked
is.
at I think he's very Rupert Campbell Black.
Yeah.
Because I looked at your other options. You
I
put some other suggestions.
I put
in,
some other
didn't you?
suggestions. Jamie Dornan.
Too young.
You know Richard Madden from
Yeah.
The Bodyguard?
I don't find no.
Really?
No.
I thought he could have been James Bond.
Richard Madden just looks like a sixth former.
Yeah, I like that. Theo, that's another podcast.
That's
Theo
another-
James, the guy that's in Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. He
Yeah,
diverted
again,
to-
there's a
come
type
on.
here.
Yeah,
There's a type.
it's
here.
called My Type. And
Yes.
finally, actually,
Klaus Bang.
Look
I
him
mean,
up.
the name. Do you know what? More Rupert Campbell Black, but
oh my God, he is so sexy. That is a walking wet dream. So I think a recast is needed. And no shade on, what's his name? The guy that plays, what's his name?
Alex Hassel.
Alex Hassel. I'm sure you're a lot of people's cup of tea, just not mine.
That's all right.
I just want to see all of those other people naked.
Keep
I'll
going.
keep watching it because
Yeah.
I don't like. I'm not.
We've
a
not got
quitter.
anything else to do.
I'm not a quitter.
She's not a quitter.
And also, Johnny likes it.
And in terms of what I've been up to, obviously we've had half term as well.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Emma, but I'm not sure. And I'm going to be honest, for those of you who've listened to the podcast for a while, if you're here for season 1 when it was just me on my own, I'm reusing material here. Sometimes you have to recycle material.
Okay.
But when you were a kid, did you have this expectation that at any given moment, in any scenario, you could say to your mum, I'm thirsty, and she would reveal a bottle of water for you?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think I ever, in the history of my childhood, drank water outside of the house.
I act like they're beach whales. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, like
It's
they're literally dehydrating
Yeah.
in front of our eyes,
Yeah.
like shriveling up like a sort of a
Yeah.
witch caught at dawn. But here's my thing. Right. I think that they need to be, if they're that thirsty,
Yeah.
if they need to have access to water at all times,
Yeah.
they need to carry their own water bottle. I am sick to death because, of course, I have to carry 2 water bottles because they're not going to share a water bottle.
Right.
So my backpack
Yeah.
is weighed down
Yeah.
with 2 water bottles. I think occasionally about putting a water bottle in for myself, but I think I can't carry it.
No.
I can't carry it.
I know.
So I shall lay myself at the altar of my children's needs.
Yeah.
And if they turn out and if they come out of the house
Yeah.
and they don't have water and they whinge and complain, I'm not buying water.
You're not buying it
I'm not buying it.
because they didn't carry it.
Because they didn't carry it. They didn't organise themselves. I'm sick to death of being a fucking maternal camel.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Do you know what I found was quite a good solution for this? Is getting the water bottles that have the strap.
Don't give a
Don't
shit.
need a rucksack.
Don't give a shit. They can drink it. They can carry it in a fucking bucket they take to the beach. I don't care.
Right.
Carrying whatever they like, but they're carrying it. I'm done.
Can't wait to see you shriveled up little
I'm
kids next time.
done. I know. Dying. Help
Little
me.
raisins.
I'm melting. Let's move on to You're Never the Only One, our topics. Let's get under the hood and jumpstart this conversation, get the engine of this podcast purring like a well-stroked
I read that.
pussy.
It made me feel sick.
I didn't say fizzy knickers.
No.
Also, I feel like you talked over my line there, so I need to do it again.
Start again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again, but do it better. And can you do it also in an M&S voice?
Can I do it in your sex TV voice?
Can you? Because I don't think I can do that today.
I'll try. Okay, so it's time for us to get under the hood and jumpstart this conversation. We need to get the engine of this podcast purring like a well-stroked pussy. I know this is going to be big and messy and probably a bit emotional because behind the scenes there's been some big feelings and some big discussions this week. So we're going to start with you. Over to you, darling.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. See, the issue I haven't got right now is in this kind of like, I'm all right here, and I'm all right with you, and I'm all right with that kind of speaking into the microphone and in this room.
You haven't
and,
looked at me as much, I have to say.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at the camera. That's what I'm really aware of. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so basically this all starts with Pamela Anderson, actress, model, animal activist, 90s icon. And I say icon for a reason. She made the headlines when she decided to ditch her signature look and attend Paris Fashion Week without makeup. Let's try that again. Paris Fashion Week. I remember seeing the story at the time, earlier in the year, and I remember I've always had a bit of obsession of, and I think a lot of us do, women, like seeing like celebrities without makeup on. It's nothing new seeing celebrities without makeup on, but it's normally done in certainly growing up, it's done in quite a derogatory way.
Yeah.
The narrative has changed, definitely, but there was something about this one that hit different, and I think you felt the same as well, didn't you? And I kind of unpicked it a little bit after she went live on Drew Barrymore's show, and it blew up again on social media because Drew Barrymore also took her makeup off live on the air. And first of all, I want to say, I watched the whole interview again last night, and I looked and I thought, we've got to take into consideration people that are in the public eye or celebrities who've got access to bank accounts that can help with like treatments and tweakments and great facialists and all that, and have that, that lifestyle, that beauty lifestyle as well. And I think some people also have great genes. I think Drew Barrymore, she does not look even close to 50, does she? She's got a baby face, right? And I think, Pamela Anderson as well, I think the way she's, the lifestyle she's had, her skin should not be that good. She looks great. I don't know, maybe they have had stuff done, maybe they've had some Profilo and, kind of salmon spunk, shoved under their eyes and stuff like that.
Apparently trout spunk's the way forward.
Is it?
Yeah.
The trout over the salmon?
Apparently.
I wonder why that is.
Don't know. It was on Made in Chelsea the other day, so it must be true.
and she's, I looked it up and I went, how old is she? And she's nearing on 60, Pam. Nearing on 60.
I'm surprised. I thought she would be 60 already. Is she not?
No, she's not. And I think the reason it hit me so hard and the feedback that I got off my Instagram account when I said this seemed to be confirming it, is that she was so iconic in my youth and probably actually some of my most impressionable years, like my teenage years. And her appearance kind of contributed towards these, what felt kind of like impossibly high beauty standards for women at the time. It didn't matter that it was fake. It was just, for me, it was kind of like she was a sex symbol. She was no different from Marilyn Monroe for previous generations. She was lusted after, she was desired. And who doesn't want to be desired? And I feel like that is a huge part of this. Do you know what I mean? And particularly for me.
So it's like a social conditioning.
Yeah, it is. And it hit me, I think, harder. And the reason why I struggle to leave my house.
It's all right.
I've spoken to you about this, Kat. I've got a lot of it's shame, it's embarrassment, it's fucking ridiculous, but it's my story, and I'm going to explain it, and hopefully, it will make sense, because I say it's not, you're never the only one that just feels ugly without their makeup on, and I don't want to, and I'm really envious of people that don't, but I do, and that's just how it is, And I spent, sorry, Rodri. Sorry, Roddy. I just spent the 90s feeling quite invisible, and without going into too much detail, and I know we've spoken a little bit about it in the past, my boarding school education started at quite a young age. I was 8, and I was younger than anyone else that was already at the school in my year, and nobody started that was my actual own age until I hit 11. So I kind of became part of the furniture at the school. I struggled to find my place within friendship groups. I was really lonely, and I just didn't feel very seen. And all I saw was the pretty girls were kind of the popular ones, and I didn't feel pretty. And I still, I still don't feel pretty. I didn't feel special in any way, and I don't know whether that was because I didn't feel particularly wanted by the fact that I was at boarding school and my family were in a different country. I've never really unpicked it as much as I have had to this week, so it's been a bit of an unraveling. Also, I just didn't feel particularly wanted at the school. I didn't feel like I was needed there. I was just, like I say, part of the furniture. Wasn't wanted by any friendship groups. And then one birthday, and I remember it so clearly, I got one of those. Do you remember Argos used to do those shitty little makeup boxes?
That had a bit of everything in them.
A bit like, so you'd open a plastic thing, they'd have these slide out bits with like compartments that would have like the most garish colours of green and blue eyeshadows, and there could probably a silvery white one in the shape of a butterfly, and then you'd have like a black eyeliner, like a little
like
tiny
a red
black
blusher.
Yeah, red blusher. And then you'd have like a little tiny mascara, shitty mascara, one colour of foundation. I mean, God forbid, you know what I mean?
There were any different skin
wasn't
tones.
like pink. And then like the same for the face powder. And I got it and I put the whole lot. I think I put everything that was in there on my face. And I'd got to the age where I could go into the local village. So I'd gone down there and it was just like night and day. You know, suddenly I wasn't invisible anymore. And I was getting attention and people were looking at me. And, well, you know, now as an adult, I look and I think, well, probably, you know, people were looking because you're like a young teenage girl with a full face of like drag queen level makeup on, you know. But at the time, yeah, I was getting attention and I was getting attention from the opposite sex and from boys. And what teenage girl doesn't want that, you know? So that gave me this confidence and this kind of power that I had over these boys as well, like, which I'd never felt before. And then as I continued into my late teens, I'd carry on and I caked on the makeup, like, and it was like the school I went to, the boarding school I went to was a theatre school, so we learned how to do stage makeup. So that is what I would wear. I would wear full on pan stick, you know, like thick, like pan stick. I looked like I was going on stage, and I wouldn't let anybody see me without it because I was insignificant without it. That's how I felt. You know, I didn't feel valid without it. And even good friends. And I couldn't look people in the face, you know, without any makeup on. I just felt like they would see, you know, what I felt, and I just didn't think I would be good enough, and they just wouldn't. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
I like this confident version of myself, and so I wanted to stay.
That's not ridiculous. That's really common. And I suppose, did you ever think of it as, because when you speak about it, I feel very similar feelings to how I used to use alcohol.
Right. Okay.
You know,
that's really
like
interesting.
You talk about how you were awkward in the room or you felt invisible and you didn't have the confidence and you weren't seen. When obviously, because I don't drink anymore, but when I did drink, I drank because it gave me that confidence. I could talk to boys. I could be funny. I could be in the room. I could turn up. And so that was why probably the main reason as to why I started drinking, that feeling of just complete, not having any agency, not like disappearing.
Yeah.
But when I drank, I didn't have that anymore. I had the confidence. I could go and I was that person, and then I sort of slipped into this chameleon thing, which is which lots of addicts in recovery will resonate with, which is like I sort of lost myself a little bit and didn't know who I really was. So I would walk into a room and my biggest fear was being rejected, probably boarding school as well. Mm-hmm. And so I would bend myself into what I knew they wanted me to be. So like, I'd lie. I'd say like I'd listened to an album that they were talking about when I hadn't, you know, just because that fear of rejection or that fear of being caught out or not included was just so severe. And my inability to be myself, the confidence to be myself, meant that I drank and drank and drank. And I couldn't ever imagine going out without drinking. I never went out without drinking. You know, in that sense, it's a really similar.
It's a mask.
It's a mask.
Definitely. Yeah. The thing is that because I was wearing so much, I started getting really bad skin. So then it became impossible to, you know, to not wear it really. And I'm not, I'm, you know,
Daily pan stick will do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My skin couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, my sisters and people, you know, my older sister be like, "What are you doing? Get all that. You got so much on. It's going to be awful for your skin." I didn't care. I mean, I used to go. I've got my makeup bag by the side of this little.
She's got it here in case she needs to like emergency pan stick. She doesn't use pan stick anymore.
What do you call it when you take an animal on a plane?
It's your blankie.
It's like, yeah, but you know when you have like
your comfort.
Emotional.
Yes, your emotional support.
It's my emotional support
makeup bag.
It's there by the side of the chair, and that used to be me. So if I was seeing a guy and I was staying at his, it didn't, you know, we were sleeping together, and it didn't matter how drunk I got, even if it's a one night stand. I didn't have that many of those, but if I had, if
you were to have one,
yeah. When I was going out, I would always have my makeup bag with me. It was, you know, I couldn't do a clutch. I always have a makeup bag, full makeup bag, and no matter how drunk I was, I would leave it by the side of the bed, strategically open with concealer, a mirror. Those were the main things. It was my skin massively. It was my skin at that time, you know.
So that when he woke up, so you would always make
and
sure.
my body clock. And I'm not a morning person.
No,
I am
not. She isn't.
Heavy sleeper in the morning. You know, it takes a lot. but my body clock, the fear clock, would wake me up and just be like, and then I would bend over, look in the mirror, like readjust and kind of like, reapply, make, put the mask straight, put it all back on. Because I just thought they would, I just thought they saw me.
Drink.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt like they would not want to be with me. They wouldn't. There's nothing beautiful about me. They were there because of how I looked, and the rest was an added bonus. Do you know what I mean?
And it's really difficult because there is obviously like a disconnect between what you see and what everybody else sees. And when you came in downstairs, and I was like, "You look amazing," you were like, "Don't pity me," and I get it. I get it, because it is impossible for you to see that, because it's not about facts. It's about a story that we've built in our heads that we're not good enough, or that we're not acceptable as we are. But it really breaks my heart.
It's like I say, it's embarrassing, because there are people who are, I look at people like Katie Piper and what she's been through, and I knew Katie. She used to work with me as a presenter. I knew her before, and just that's such an inspiring story. And I want to be able to, we did discuss, and you put it out on Insta about the raising money, and I, that put a lot of pressure on, and I thought, I've got to do it. And then obviously we haven't reached the target, but I was just like, you know what, I know this is coming from a good place, and I know, it's got to be done. But I still feel like a bit of a fake around it, because I've had my eyebrows dyed, I've had my lashes lifted and tinted, I've put something on my lips to try and make them go a bit redder and plumper. I mean,
this woman has undergone some serious pain, like the lip gloss that she put on herself.
But you know what? People have filler, people have Botox. I've come a long way, and I have to say, a big part of this is Johnny, because for the first time, Johnny, my husband, and Johnny's made me love myself past all that, because he's really made me, he just...
Are you without your makeup on around Johnny?
Yeah, it took a while, and there was a time where he took my pan stick, and I literally had a full-blown panic attack, and he was like, "This is fucked. This is fucked." But he's always been, from the get-go, he's never been about sexy lingerie. No, he's just like, he's all about the pure rawness. And we met at work, and I was in a relationship at the time where I would come in and I was in a mess, and he wants to save, he's a fixer, and he wants to save people, and he was a bit of a knight in shining armor, and he's really, really helped me. And do I look in the mirror and like what I see? Rarely, more rarely now since I'm aging. But I've got a healthy confidence about and a love for myself through my friends, through my partner. Do you know what I mean? That I didn't have before, and that's come with age, definitely, and experience. But the makeup is, as I said at the beginning, it's become a part of who I am. There's also an element, I love applying it. I love it's quite mindful. It's quite therapeutic. And and I think everyone would agree, if you look good, you feel good, and I want to feel good. And I did actually put it out
just while you search for some stuff.
Yeah.
Do you, obviously, it's been a big week, and it's been tricky, and I definitely underestimated the effect that going makeup free would have on you. Like, I knew you were reluctant, but I didn't realise quite how deep-rooted the anxiety was.
Yeah, I didn't advocate for myself enough, though, did I? And because I didn't want to cause a fuss, and I didn't want, and also because I'm so embarrassed about it. It's just like ridiculous, me going, we're doing a new podcast, and you going to me, we're going to go makeup free. It's great. It'll be great for the podcast as well. And me just going, no, I'm not doing that. I felt like, I was the problem here.
In that sense, I have to own my part in it, because I did underestimate it, and it didn't occur to me, and I should have given you more space to stand up and go, I'm not doing it. Having said that, I'm really proud that you have done it. And my question is, would you want to be at a point where you feel super comfortable and confident being makeup free? Or are you just resigned to the fact that that's never going to be the case? And if you do, has this I know it's been super traumatic, but has it in any way been a little bit freeing, or has there been any positives to it?
I guess I'll see it afterwards. I feel like it's. Can you pass me my lip balm, please? I'm drying up.
I need to try that spicy one. I think it's what's really struck me is the similarity between how I used alcohol and how you use makeup.
Yeah.
And the difference obviously is that, being an alcoholic is destructive in a very massive way around to people around me. So I'm not suggesting that it's the same sort of thing, but what I'm saying is we use it for the same reasons. And I think it's been, from my point of view, as somebody who's given up booze and lived and learned to go out without drinking and learned to live without, it's been the most freeing thing I've ever done. And I wonder if there might be a parallel there, that if this was the first step in maybe, I'm not saying never wear makeup again, but maybe if this was the first step in not having to, you might find that there comes with that quite a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I don't feel very free. I don't feel confident.
I can imagine.
I'm really kind of there's lots of things I've had to do to so not looking in the mirror kind of, and making sure you fake it till you make it. Do you know what I mean? That's all in my head today. I'm just if I don't look in the mirror and I don't see what I look like. Then...
But the end of that is that you make it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Let's see. Definitely.
Because I'd love to see you step into that, because I know that you think I'm pitying you, but you are an incredibly beautiful woman. She's got teeth she's got teeth like she went to Turkey. We've talked about this before, and they're not Turkish teeth; they're real teeth.
They're getting yellow now. They're getting old and yellow.
Okay.
They're getting old and yellow.
Okay.
Right.
Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to start this thing where every time you say something negative about yourself, you're going to do a handstand.
God, fucking hell! That's going to make me feel even older.
I did that with Kira.
Yeah.
And her mum adopted it.
You know what my mind straight away went then? If I do that, then I'll probably get a bit more colour in my cheeks, so I'll look better. But that was the first reaction.
You want colour in your cheeks? I can punch you in the face.
Give me a smack. Give me a smack. I should have done more of this before we came on. All right, so I did a bit of research. I asked my followers, ladies, how often do you wear makeup?
What did they say?
What do you think? How many people...
Well, I voted twice on this.
Oh, did you?
Well, because I voted from You're Never the Only One, and then I voted from Not So Smug Now.
Did you say the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you say? Every time you leave the house, just for work, just for day, night, or special occasions, or never?
Well, I put just for work because whenever I leave the house, basically I only leave the house if I'm working, because otherwise I just like to be at home. and really not even just for work, because sometimes I go makeup free. But for me, it's really it's probably become more of a thing as I've got older. I probably wear makeup more.
Yeah. And
I'm on camera more.
Yeah. But
really, I'd say just for work.
Just for work.
Or special occasions, like a combo.
Well, you're in the minority there, because that was only 17%. So majority of people wear it every time they leave the house. Okay.
What was the result? What was the percentage?
Well, I mean, I might have played that to my advantage there. It was actually only 41%. But
wow. We love it. We love a bit of skewing the results.
Yeah, 36% said just for a day or night out or special occasions. So I feel like it's
5% there, so it's about the same.
It's about the same, yeah. Then I asked, why do you wear makeup? The biggest result was 54% a confidence boost. After that, 29% to hide blemishes, other facial features. Only 8% of people said it was to hide signs of aging.
I'd like to have seen what they would have said if you said, because they felt they had to.
I did ask about social.
Go for it.
It was really low. Nobody felt like it was because of
social pressure.
Yeah, because of social pressure.
That's good to know.
Really low. Yeah, I thought that. That's why I didn't include it in this. But anyway, do you think makeup impacts on how others perceive you? I found this question interesting because...
That's a really loaded question. Because that isn't actually about others, that's about you.
Yeah, it is. But equally, I have felt, and I've had some messages from people that have had the same thing, because they choose, and something you asked me last week, do I wear makeup when I exercise? I do. And I'm a small percentage of people that do. 27% of people said they do as well. The other 73 said they didn't. But I'm the kind of person that would wear full face
makeup to go to Barry's boot camp.
And
lucky Barry.
Yesterday I was at boot camp and I was going to it. And my PT was like, why don't you want to wear makeup? I'm like, because I look awful, Kieran. That's why I'm not wearing makeup, because I look awful. So he doesn't know any different. But I've mastered it, I think, to look like I'm not wearing loads. But for me, I know that's taken me a good half an hour to put on. I also have, know the negative impacts of what people think when you put a full face of makeup on and they think, oh, you're full of yourself, look at you all dolled up. And I don't think a lot of people realise the people that are wearing that much is because.
So if they said that to you?
it's the vibe. It's a vibe.
It's a feeling.
And it also girls.
So it's not a fact. It's a feeling.
No, here we go.
Sorry, I'm getting a bit therapy. Just saying.
Okay, yeah, I get where you're coming from. Girls, I think as well, friendships. As I've got older, I found
Girls are
that
bitchy.
girls can be quite bitchy, and I think if you look nice, maybe there's I've always had to fight with that, people feeling maybe intimidated because of how I look. When I'm like, I don't look like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to be friends, but you're intimidated.
So
by
there's
the
always
person I'm
therefore
not.
a disconnect between the person you're presenting and the person you actually are.
Yeah.
That must be really hard.
Yeah.
Like kind of
But as I'm wearing
as well.
But now as I'm wearing less so. So that's a positive thing. I'm definitely wearing less. Do you think makeup impacts on how others perceive you? Back to that. Yes, in a positive way. 49% of people said that. They think that people
that's
have
50% of people who think that people
React.
like them more
Yeah.
if they're wearing makeup.
Yeah. And the other
Wow,
pretty much the other 50% said, I don't think it makes much of a difference.
I said I don't think it makes much of a difference.
Right.
Because I think for me, I've never really given that much thought.
Right.
My weight, on the other hand,
Yeah.
I would think far more about that than my face.
Do you think that
And my makeup.
people would
Oh,
perceive you
happily would.
differently with
If I was thinner,
Yeah.
100%. I don't know. I think that, we talk about in recovery a lot about self-centered fear. And I remember my friend saying to me, you're pretty self-centered. And I remember thinking, how fucking dare you? Like I've never thought a lot of myself internally.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but she says, you don't think a lot of yourself, but you think of yourself a lot. And it was really interesting because it made it clear to me that self-centeredness didn't have to be, I'm the best, I'm the bomb, because it's always associated a little bit with arrogance and uncaring and selfishness. And actually, I spent so much time thinking about myself in relation to what other people were thinking of me. And actually, they probably couldn't have given less of a shit.
I don't believe that. That really annoys me. Nobody's looking, nobody cares. I look. So therefore, do you know what I mean? I would be like, oh,
But do you judge?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, because I'd be like, why don't you put make yourself more presentable? Why don't
So
you
that's a you problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not a them
massively.
problem. Yeah.
Massively, but then of course, then I'm, you could look even better like that, or you could even look even better like that.
But what if they feel totally comfortable?
Yeah, I know, which I'm also jealous of.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there? I think maybe you should go to like Makeup's Anonymous.
I was thinking that. Do you know what I said to Johnny? I said, the more and more I hear about recovery, the better it sounds. I just need to get an alcohol problem.
Okay, did you get any voice notes?
I think there was a couple of WhatsApps that I can read out. This was an interesting one from Steph. Thanks for this, Steph. Appreciate this. Hi Emma, it's Steph. I hope you're good. So, makeup. In society, if I don't wear makeup, everyone asks if I'm okay. Like, if you don't wear makeup, you must be ill. Like, women have to put this front on to be a functioning member of society. Men don't. They just get up and go. This is years of conditioning from the patriarchy that was built to keep men superior and women below. Women have been taught to be pretty for the history of our civilization, be quiet and look pretty. Once we finally got the privilege to be allowed to work and earn our own money, so what better way than to make us feel like we had to look a certain way to be successful? And, better yet, the men make the money off it, makeup being a huge part of that system. And now it's so entwined in our daily lives, it's normal. It's not normal to wear makeup. So that's my 2 pence. Lol.
I don't want to be that woman that bangs on about the patriarchy all the time, but like it's the fucking patriarchy. It's like there is this expectation that it's always a way of controlling women. Some way, shape or form, whether it's how you should look, what you should put on your face, where you should work, how much you should earn, how seriously your health problems are taken. It's all there.
I mean, yeah. I said, didn't I, when I said about kind of feeling desired?
You're not doing this for you. That's the thing that I think maybe if you were to ask for my unsolicited opinion, which you haven't, but I'm going to say anyway because it's a podcast, kind of the point. You have sort of said that you would love to have the confidence to not have to wear the makeup, and you don't feel free.
It's not. I'd like to be beautiful enough to not wear the makeup. That's what it is.
I think that you are sort of maybe working under the illusion that you do this for you, when actually it's about making other people feel comfortable.
I think it's a mate. So Kat is going to go. It's the first time I've looked at the camera.
There she is.
Kat is going to go
Oh, yeah.
on the red carpet tonight, completely makeup free.
I am.
That's
I mean, listen,
because you go makeup free on your Insta. You go out in public like that. Like
I go out in public with my actual face. I do. I do.
Like,
with this.
I hate myself. I'm so sorry.
I know.
You know,
Can
but
you
I mean-
believe it? I take this face out in public without any makeup. Sometimes I don't even wash it.
Stop. That's worse. No, I'm joking.
Sometimes I pick the eye bogies out as I walk
stop
along.
it. No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Oh, I sound so awful.
No, it's fine. But it's. I don't take offence in any way, shape, or form. I love you, and I know that this is not about anything other than something that you have a very almost trauma response to. So there's nothing you can say is going to offend me. I mean, if you called me a fat bitch, I'd probably climb over there.
Would you?
I'm wearing my Spanx.
You know, you had your veins done.
I did, yeah.
How did you feel about your veins?
Yeah, I hated them. And do you know what, funny enough, I was thinking about this morning, of like an equivalent. And I definitely hid my legs because of the veins.
Yeah.
And I'd still say I'm quite self-conscious about them. I fake tan. That hides it a lot. I use a bit of Sally Hansen airbrush.
Yeah,
By the
brilliant.
way, the best product ever invented.
Incredible.
Just,
Old. It's like the OG.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Pretty Polly of skin.
It's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Although I did learn the hard way that it doesn't stay on like fake tan when you get in a pool.
Oh no, it goes patchy, but it doesn't come off properly either.
No, it's Centre
Soap
Parks
and
was
water
fun.
takes it off. Oh well, Centre Parks. I mean, there's the chemicals in that pool and all the wee. They strip you. Sorry, they strip everything.
First layer of skin.
That's the chemical peel you want.
Yeah.
Just put your face in the rapids at Centre Parks. You'll be fine. Listen, there's a lot that's fucking wrong with me. I have a lot of trauma. I have a lot of stuff that I can't do. That I can be a real cunt. But when it comes to my body and physical appearance, there are certain things I don't like, but not in a way that would stop me from doing anything.
Right. Okay.
So like my legs I wouldn't love, but if I was on holiday I wouldn't hide them.
Yeah.
Like I'd be in a bikini.
Yeah.
I would feel conscious of them, and I still do.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I hid. Johnny went out, and I got myself locked out once.
I did hear this story.
And I hid in the porch. We were in a basement flat in Shepherd's Bush at the time, and it was October. And I was out there for 8 hours because I was in my dressing gown. My skin was really bad as well at the time. I'd been picking, and my legs were hairy, and I thought, I can't let anyone see me like this. So for 8 hours, I sat there until he got home. I had no phone, no nothing.
I say this with love. Aside from the insanity of that, like the thought as somebody with ADHD of having to sit in one place with nothing to fucking do for 8 hours.
Madness. It's madness. I wouldn't do that now. I've progressed a lot.
I could be stark bollock naked.
No, you wouldn't.
I would go out. And
Would you?
100%.
Would you?
Yeah, the thought. I'd rather walk stark
Couple of
bollock naked
dustbin
down the
lids.
street than sit there for 8 hours with nothing to do. Not even a fidget spinner. No way. No way. Anyway, should we move on?
Let's.
That was a bit dismissive. Let's not move on. Very
No,
briefly.
no.
You're a fucking incredible human. And I'm really, I'm cross.
I mean, like, that's not incredible, for fuck's sake.
But I'm cross. No, you're not incredible that you've turned up without your makeup on. But you are an incredible human for other reasons. I don't give a shit what your face looks like. But what you've done today is really big.
It's for me, yeah.
It's really big.
Yeah.
It's like jumping into a pit of snakes, even if you're terrified of them.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Wink. I'm really proud. Are you now going to secretly go down here and put some makeup on? No, don't. You're fine.
a bit of BB
What I'd quite like
yeah.
is some of the spicy lips. Have you got spicy lips with you?
You have to try it.
Because I feel like it might be fun. You made it sound as if...
So before I came on...
Here we go. Listen, if we're ever worried about a sponsor for this particular episode, I think we're going to be fine.
Okay, so, this is my blooming. Can find the link in my bio. So this is like that tightens, okay, and that helps with the aging skin. And then I put a bit of this stuff on, which is Plump It. I feel like I'm on Insta. Plump It, a volumizing lip plumper, and I've seen a lot of people struggling with this, but that made me want it even more because I thought
You've seen them struggling because it hurts.
because it's quite stingy.
Okay, I'm going to do it live. Not live, obviously, but like on the camera. I need to get a...
Really pump a load of it out.
All right.
Get a load of it out.
I've got a little glossy tip.
My recommendation wouldn't be to go too far out your lip line. Did that the first time.
God, now I've just seen my face. I've got the shakes.
Okay. While she's doing that, I'm just going to put on my tripeptide plumping lip balm.
Oh, no, tongue!
You got it on the tongue?
Yeah, I got it on the tongue a little bit. Okay, that is... Whew. Who makes this? The devil.
Yeah. That's what I said. Someone said, does it work? I went, yeah, it's the devil's work.
Okay. That feels... I tell you what that feels like. It feels like I've chopped a chili up and rubbed it all over my lips. Mm-hmm. This isn't like anything other than like
It makes
traumatizing your lips into swelling up.
Yeah.
I'm still doing more.
Going more.
Because I'm an addict.
Because you saw
it's
me
the
put
pain.
it on
No, it's
earlier.
the dopamine hit I'm getting from the pain.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. After this, I'm going to go get 3 tattoos. It's a dopamine hit from the pain. It's like I hate it, but I love it. Oh, now it's gone down the back of my throat.
So please, it's your turn to tell me about your topic of the episode.
Okay, I just need a minute.
What is that you're drinking? What is that? Kombucha?
Well, we are in Hoxton. Oh, right. Oh, I'm shaking, actually. That's really stingy. Okay.
It feels like your lips are seeping, doesn't it?
It feels like they're crawling off my face.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Are they plump?
A little bit.
Right, my topic is this week, you're never the only one who's shit with money. And I sort of did that for the succinctness of it. But the reality is actually, I wanted to hear about everybody's personal relationship with money.
Yeah.
Because I think it's in our house, it's a very tricky subject. Because I am, a bit like I am with my face, I don't really care about money that much. Like I like to have enough to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I like to have enough to make sure my bills are paid. But savings, for example... that's never going to be my vibe. Like I wish it was, and maybe it will be. But I am a spender. It comes in, it goes out. Well, no, it comes in, I take some off for tax, and then it goes out. Oh, that's really kicking in now.
Press your lips together.
No, I don't want to.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
What have you given me? So anyway, money for me is I think I don't have enough of a relationship with it to really care about it in the way that my husband does, for example.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot to do with how you're brought up. My dad was very much about appearances and it's really hurting. Very much about appearances. Like, you know, I went to boarding school.
Yeah.
I know there were times he couldn't quite pay the bills, but it was important to him that I was at boarding school.
Yeah.
Not because it was the best thing for me. I made that abundantly clear. Like he wanted his daughter to be at boarding school. He went to Harrow Boys, so it was like a thing. Not anything that I hold a resentment against him. I got a lot out of boarding school as well as not loving a lot about it. But money was always something that we used to make the external look shiny.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something that I've inherited. And I also am ADHD, and there's a significant feature of compulsive and impulsive behavior. And spending money is one of those dopamine hits that we get that's like very easy, very quick, and very effective. You know, like when you're not feeling quite yourself, but you have to go out. So you go, I'm going to go buy myself a new top. No, because you're normal. But that's a dopamine hit for me. And I think that's going to, basically it changes the way I feel because I'm an addict as well. So anything I can do to change the way I feel, including spending money to buy a top that's going to make me into the person I need to be that night, it's going to give me that hit.
Wow.
Yeah. Traditionally, I'm not great with money, but I did put it out there to the podcast Hive Mind. Here we go.
I love a voice note.
I love a voice note too. This one really broke my heart a little bit. Here we go.
I'm just trying to get ready to the gym. I've just seen your Instagram and I thought I would send you a message because maybe now's the time to get this off my chest and step into my
She's never said this
truth.
before to anybody else.
I am so ashamed of this. And actually, like, my heart is beating just talking to you right now. And I do love a podcast worthy of a WhatsApp message, or vice versa. A WhatsApp message worthy of a podcast. Sorry about my blind. Nobody wants to see me getting changed for the gym. When I was 19, I inherited over £100,000, and I did buy a house, but I blew most of it, and I have lived deeply regretting that for the rest of my life. Last Thursday, I'm getting a bit emotional. I got diagnosed with ADHD. I've always been really, really crap with money. And I've watched my sister have the most amazing life because she married this guy who's really good with money, and she inherited the same, and they are just heading for retirement, and they're going to have this amazing retirement. And when I was 26, I met a guy who's very wealthy, had a child with him. It was a terrible relationship, so destructive. And I walked away from it, and I walked with nothing, but we co-parent, we share our daughter. I get no maintenance. And he lives in this like fancy place with horses and all that jazz. And I'm still here in my little damp garden flat, just getting by. And I was self-employed for 17 years. I had a cafe, and then I opened up the very first cafe in Bristol Temple Meads. I had a cafe in Weston. And then over COVID, that got shut down, and I turned my shop into a zero waste store, which I loved, but then decided to give it up because of the cost of living crisis. And then I completely went online, good and proper zero, and it just didn't work out. And I'm currently working. I'm really grateful for the job. I've got a great job. I love it. I work from home and just trying to make ends meet. And I'm literally just making inroads now into getting my website up and running again, and going to try and make a better life for my 14-year-old, but she'll be 15 in a few months. And I kind of feel like I might have missed the boat for her. And it's so much. Oh, and I also inherited another large amount of money just before COVID, which I then spent a lot of on the cafe in Bristol Temple Meads, which I then lost within a year because of COVID. It's been wild. And that's the first time I've ever said it all in one go out loud. I'm so sorry this is so long.
It really touched me because that ADHD diagnosis, this is why when people are easily diagnosed with ADHD, that has suddenly, everything has clicked into place for her. Like that impulsive behaviour, that marrying the wrong person, that leaving with nothing, that all of that stuff is like tied up in our brain. And I hate it. I hate that ADHD comes into everything, but it is it's my brain. I don't do anything without my brain. So of course it affects everything, but hearing that and just that like emotion that she gets when she's like, I was diagnosed with ADHD, that comes from, and now it all makes sense. And that anger, I guess, and grief for the life that you could have had if somebody had just gone, you're a bit fucking different. So I felt for her on that. We got a few emails and things like that as well. She said, hello, ladies. As a child of the early 70s, learning about money went as far as playing with toy money in the toy post office till, God, I loved that. I know. Consequently, I'm 100% shit with money. Learning about how to save, invest and budget was never, ever taught in school. The teachers were more concerned with pi and algebra and trigonometry, and while pupils constantly failed at it. I mean, what the actual fuck was that all about?
Is that alluding to the fact that they do teach it in school now?
No, they still don't teach it
in
school.
They don't. I remember getting a store card. I think it was probably at the time, pennies.
Do they even do store cards anymore?
Well, I don't know, but at the time I remember they were like, do you want this store card? You get like 20% off today, and you can just use and it was basically
with like 45% APR or something.
It was crazy. And I got home and I said to my mum, I got like free. She was like, no, took it, cut it up straight away. And then, kind of just sat me down at that point. And that I was probably...
Well, you must have been 18 because you couldn't have...
Yeah, I must have been like early 20s. Yeah. And she was like, no. And it took that long for me to go. And since then I just got terrified. Never even got a credit card until last year.
We've also got an unheard voice note, which is always quite fun.
Oh, gosh.
Should we try it?
Yeah.
Come on, TJ. Don't let me down.
Hello, Kat. My name's Tim. I'm 38 and I have been rubbish with money all of my life. I'm not really sure the reasons for that, but I think partly it was just because I was never able to prioritise. I wanted to live a particular lifestyle, and I, month by month, I was, it was sort of living hand to mouth, spending what money I've got, and not really considering the future and how it might affect, the things that I really needed to save my money for, such as like healthcare or rent and things like this. So I've learned to prioritize over the years. I have ADHD as well, so I think part of my spending was trying to get dopamine and get dopamine hits, dopamining. I think that's probably part of the reason I used to do it. But also, I remember in school not really ever having any real world scenarios to apply mathematics to. And I think that's something that we're not sort of taught enough of. And not just apply the math, but like, I struggle with this. I struggle still to know that in some schools, we're not taught about budgeting at all. Like, it's not even a thing. And it blows my mind that we're not learning this. So I've had to learn that myself. And as I said, I'm 38 years old. Literally only in the last 28 months have I learned how to budget.
Oh my God. First of all, I love that we've finally got a man's voice on the podcast. Secondly, can you send us your budget spreadsheet, please? Because I feel like I could really benefit from that.
Too.
But thirdly, you know what it is? It's a bit like MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
It's like I'm back on MyFitnessPal.
Right.
And it's not that I'm great. Like yesterday was a write-off. It did not go well. It was quite an emotional day. I ate emotionally. I had a whole packet of those like that size packet of those like chocolate wafers squares.
Yeah.
With the hazelnut chocolate.
They don't count their wafers.
Yeah, it's the air basically.
The air.
Because I had MyFitnessPal, I put that in anyway. Didn't look great. But then I was like, okay, but I've logged it. It's almost the act of like recognizing it.
Yeah.
Knowing it's there, and then you can manage it. Otherwise it sort of builds up mentally.
Yeah.
And if you
It's
don't
like the
write it down.
notebooks. It's like the
if you don't concrete write it down,
Yeah.
it becomes this like massive thing in your head. And then you go, well, I might as well not fucking bother. Whereas now I'm like, okay, I had a bad day. I've written it down. It's between me and MyFitnessPal. Nobody else needs to know about it, apart from everybody listening to the podcast. The gazillions of people listening. And it's a bit like that with your budget. It's like if you just write it down,
Yeah.
but that in itself is a discipline that we need to get into, and it's not easy. And I think this email very quickly, and then we will move on, but it said, I grew up within a very toxic household with many forms of abuse from parents and step-parents, and part of that abuse was financial.
Right.
And I think this idea of financial abuse is something we don't talk about nearly enough. Often it's men controlling women through finances, or lack of access to finances. I always feel like I want to prove my financial stability to my other family members to prove I'm not like my mum. I feel I have to have things to prove to myself that I have money, but I have ultimately been at times reckless with it. I've always had my own savings for the last 3 years, and I don't have debt, so I know I'm not like her, but I find myself hiding that I've bought things from my husband, or feeling deeply uncomfortable asking him to buy anything for us that isn't completely necessary. And that is 100% me projecting from my past. So, you know, I came from a family of quite a lot of privilege. My husband came from a very regular, middle-class, normal working middle-class family. I certainly grew up on the face of it with more material stuff, more money. And he brought into his adult life this idea that people with money were somehow a bit gross.
Okay.
And so he hates when he earns money. He earns good money, but when he really hates spending it on himself. Like, he's like, can I have some more underwear for Christmas? I'm like, absolutely not. You can buy your own underwear. I'm not buying you underwear for Christmas. That's like saying I'm having a shower, it's self-care.
Yeah.
No, it's a basic human necessity.
Yeah.
Of course, he only wears Calvin Klein underwear. He once had to buy a pair of New Balance by accident, like, because he packed without packing any underwear. And his approach to packing is a whole different topic that we can unpack at another time, pun intended.
Ironically.
But he didn't pack any underwear.
Right.
So we had to go to TK Maxx, and they only had New Balance. And he was devastated.
Therapy.
But he's really good with money. He's almost, in fact, actually, I would say that I'm not good enough and he's too good. Like, he won't treat himself. He doesn't like to spend anything. He's always like, the boiler's going to break. We're going to need to get a new roof. Whereas I'm like, it'll be fine.
Wow.
And we're sort of always right. It always has been fine.
Yeah.
And we've never really needed to get a new boiler.
Are you quite money driven? I'd love to be more money driven. I'm not at all. I'm a saver, but I'm not money
I think
driven.
as I've got older, it's really interesting that you say that, because I certainly wasn't. I'm a creative and I'm an addict. So I'm all about the pleasure and the experience and the joy and the impulse and spontaneity. So No, but I think as I've got older, I've started to realize that I needed to be more money driven. But it's more the freedom that money gives me than the money itself. Like, I don't care about having stacks of money in the bank.
The freedom
Of choice, of not having to worry about things, of being able to do things that I want to do, not having to necessarily go, oh, I've got to wait and save and do all that. Like, I mean, I probably should wait and save a bit more, but I thrive on, like, my biggest thing is the freedom. I hate the idea that I'm out of control because I don't have enough money, and it's a security thing. And I think it's a fiercely independent thing as well, you know, and also it's a self-employed thing. Jimmy and I both self-employed. So neither of us have any idea how much money we're earning each month. You know, I don't love living that way, but I can manage it. Jimmy hates living that way. But it's also, I mean, if he doesn't play bass, what the hell is the man going to do?
Yeah.
So I think I'm more money driven in that I want to be able to live the life I want to live. But it isn't so that everybody knows I've got loads of money or I've got loads of money in the bank. It's more like I just want the freedom to live the life I want to live.
Yeah.
And I think also as I've got older and as I've earned more money, I've gained the confidence that I can earn that money and that I am able to. And I didn't have that for a really long time. You know, it took me ages to figure out what I was going to do with my life, how I was going to earn money. I did loads of different jobs. I was a fashion buyer. I worked as a teacher. I did ski seasons. I was a tour manager. I ran a charity. You know, there was never, I just wanted to do something that I loved.
Yeah.
But I think as I got older, I realized that I wanted to find something that I loved and that paid me really well. And I'm there now. You know, but it took me until I was 38, you know, to even consider that I could actually earn that money, that I was worthy of it.
Right.
Both my half brother and half sister have done incredibly well. They've built their own businesses. They are ostensibly what you would call like millionaires. Like they're big and they've done it all themselves and they're incredible. And I think there's always been a little bit of insecurity in me because they didn't go to private school. They didn't get all the grades.
Yeah.
And they've been so successful.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that I've always described myself a little bit as the poster child for unfulfilled potential because, you know, I had in my eyes and I guess in everybody's eyes, like I had everything, the private school education, I had this, I had that, I had parents who didn't divorce, and yet I couldn't find my place.
Yeah.
And I think it was only as I approached 40 that I was able to go, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I not just doing it?
Yeah.
Why am I not just doing it? And it also meant I had to have a chat with Jimmy because Jimmy was very much like, we had young kids.
Yeah.
And I had to, I guess to a certain extent, and he might disagree with this, but I guess I had to prove to him that I could earn money and that was worth the time I was going to take away.
Yeah.
But I had to believe that I was worth that money.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of there at the moment. Actually.
And it took me a while to believe that would ever happen.
Yeah.
Time for me is the most valuable asset. If I can buy myself time, I will throw money at that problem. So when it's like, yes, I can decorate my living room. Of course I can. It's going to take me 2 or 3 days to do it. If I pay a decorator to do it, I've just bought myself 2 or 3 days.
That's exactly Johnny's mindset. I need that because what I do is say, I'm going to do it, and then I beat myself up because I don't end up doing it. Yeah. And then if I do end up having to pay someone, I'm like,
yeah. Or then when you do it, you're like, well, I've got so much to do and you're stressed and blah, 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 blah.
And I'm a horrible person.
Oh, you've got to throw money at the problem.
At least my painting looks nice.
Yeah, at least I did my painting. Oh, I'll send you your medal. Anyway, listen, money, it's a big thing. We didn't even really touch the sides there. So just a reminder that this podcast is all about you and hearing your voices. So if you've got anything to say about this episode or previous episodes or any upcoming topics that we're going to share with you now, please email us at you'renevertheonlyone@gmail.com. That's YOURE. Or leave us a voice note on 07457 402 704. That's 07457 402 704. Right, next week's topics.
What are you going with?
I'm a bit scared now that I've done it, but I think it's going to be really good. You're never the only one who's estranged from a close family member. We're going with estrangement.
Classify as estrangement.
Like you don't talk to them anymore.
At all. Never
like
will.
A conscious
it's not a hiatus.
No, well, maybe it is, because I think never say never.
Yeah.
But it's a conscious decision. You've made a conscious decision, or they've made a conscious decision to have nothing to do with that person. So that's what we're talking about. I want to know if that's you, whether you've chosen to be estranged or whether somebody has estranged you. I don't think that's a verb, but you know what I'm saying. How you feel about it, what it was that made it happen and all of that stuff. And I just want to know about that because it's real, and I don't think we talk actually quite a lot about
God,
estrangement.
It's so real. I am going to cover the topic of you're never the only one who feels invisible after 40. Why that noise?
I think it's a really juicy topic.
Oh, God, no pressure.
Just a reminder, if you want to talk about any of those things, you've got anything to say, we'll obviously be putting it on the Instagram, but get in touch as well at
The Instagram?
The Instagram.
You sound like my mum.
And on the World Wide Web.
Are you on the Instagram
The
again?
TikTok. The Tic Tac. So if you've got anything to say, you can do it at you're never the only one at gmail.com or on the WhatsApp voice note message, which is 07457 402 704. We'll also put that in the show notes. Save the number, and I think that's us.
Is this the point now we're at episode 4 where we should start saying to people that they should leave reviews and 5-star it and say how great we are?
The things I say and do aren't always what I mean. I'm neither saint nor sinner, I'm somewhere in between. This world is complicated, everything moves so quick. You're lying to yourself if you think that you got it licked. Everybody knows you're never the only one. You're never the only one. Don't live inside your shame, 'cause everybody makes mistakes. Oh. Don't judge me, I'm a weakness. Don't judge me on my floor. 'Cause no one's really perfect by the grace of God goes so. Everybody knows you're never the only one. You're never the only one. Don't live inside your shame, 'cause everybody makes mistakes. Oh. Taking the time to make sure everything's okay.